Okay, peace and blessings. It's your brother Sorry back with another one. Um, Peace to the true and living. Yeah, I mean, you tuned into this, you are the true and living. Thank you for tuning in. Gonna get into this 23rd law of power, man. I'm gonna just run through some of the 48, trying to get somewhere within that list. Let's see, 23rd law of power. That's gonna go into the law of power. Concentrate your forces. Instead of trying to be everywhere and do everything, concentrate your forces on a decisive aspect. Concentration often leads to better results, whether focusing on a specific market segment or a unique skill. Okay, so that's the 23rd law of power. Um, we also did a video, I'll probably leave it in the comments, about concentration of attention. You see what I'm saying? Concentration of attention leads to high resolution awareness. It allows you to key in on a lot of the nuances of certain things or whatever case may be, as far as focusing of attention and stuff like that. The fragmentation of attention leads to insanity and psychosis. You see what I'm saying? And delusion and all of those things like that. Things that you should be focused on, principles and things that you should be focused on or whatever. When you're distracted from those things or whatever case may be, it's the fragmentation of attention and stuff like that. You're trying to focus on a million different things or whatever case may be, and you're losing focus on the principle behind the thing that you should be focused on. So you're all over the place, and it leads to levels of delusion, psychosis, and things of that nature. So this is we're gonna go into this TM2. We still in this TM2 pretty for the most part because True Master Volume 2 kind of deals with navigating situations. True Master Volume 1 is more of the self to self, it's more of the self-reflective aspect of it. This is dealing more with navigating situations and energy. Um, so we're gonna get into page 66 of that TM, right? Okay, so this is a section on targeting. So the 23rd law of power is dealing with concentration of forces. This is dealing with targeting. Okay, so any effort without a goal behind it is insubstantial, right? So this says any effort without a goal behind it is insubstantial. Targets are reached through clear pathways, many checkmates. Now we talked about holes in the energy and everything like that. Um, as kind of mini checkmates as it pertains to navigating situations and stuff like that, finding the, I don't know, the sweet spot or the spot that allows the least amount of resistance for you to be able to exercise your will or whatever you're trying to do. Um, Here we're talking about kind of like traveling pathways or trajectories or lines, so to speak, to get to our goals and everything like that. Paths, tracks to get to our goals. Lines or paths or trajectories. Traveling a line or pathways like pursuing a goal. Untargeted efforts are in essence wasted energy. Attack, attain targets, goals from behind balance points. All right. Balance points are these little markers of stability or markers of progress that we talked about, or whatever case may be. In attaining a goal, you operate from behind them, so that you don't exhaust your efforts or exhaust your energy and stuff like that. You operate from behind established markers of progress or whatever, or established bases of resources, what have you. Okay, balance points provide defensive position for offensive effort. Okay. Uh, Example, in business, people do business as corporations to limit liability. If they incur liability, the corporation will be sued and not the individual. When they receive personal liability because of operating incorrectly from behind their corporation, it is called piercing the corporate veil. Using a corporation or trust to avoid liability is like working from behind a balance point. Uh, this is another section. Live inside of your intent. Stay focused on your intent from the large goals to the small goals and don't deviate. Arrange internal and external mental landscapes. Internal mental landscapes meaning um, blueprints in the mind, your plans, your the way that you plan to do things, whether you write things down, your vision board, whatever your structure or skeleton of whatever you're trying to do. The internal and the external and the internal mental landscapes around achieving your intent. The content that you take in, who do you listen to, um, Let me see here. Um, who do you model your efforts after? You see what I'm saying? Do you have somebody else that you model your efforts after, or is there somebody that kind of like influences the way that you do things, or whatever case may be? And if not, why not? You see what I'm saying? Why don't you have somebody that you can kind of say, okay, well, this individual did things kind of like how I want to do them, or whatever case may be. So this is kind of like um a similar template. You don't have to like um, completely jack somebody's stuff or whatever case may be, but at least have some kind of idea or whatever. It should be somebody that motivates or inspires you or whatever case may be. Observe the patterns while pursuing your intent with a sense of intelligent anticipation. Now, this intelligent anticipation, this is okay, like so with this is like being in the moment, being inside of the moment or whatever case may be. Not so this is not a substitute for having a plan. This is not a substitute for working things out. Remember on the previous video we were saying the only sin as far as this stuff is concerned is not being prepared. So it does entail being prepared, but within being prepared, once you have a level of preparation and you're still dealing with the living situation or whatever case may be. Um, let's see. This deals with not forcing your will. This deals with having an organic interaction within the situation, so you can address the variables organically, and you can be sober enough without having any preconceived notions or preconceived intentions or whatever case may be, or not even saying preconceived intentions, but preconceived notions or preconceived prejudices in regards to the situation, so you could operate in the situation organically, so that you will not miss any of the opportunities that the situation may avail you. You see what I'm saying? Okay, so let's see, not forcing your will, but appropriately responding to energy and allowing time for gestation and time to adjust to changes in the energy, listening to the energy, staying unpredictable yet within established parameters and within the established tempo. When I was talking about tempo, we're dealing with the tempo of patterns or whatever case may be. You're dealing with not trying to speed up or slow down the interaction or whatever case may be. Speeding up or slowing down the interaction would indicate that there's some level of fear or whatever case may be. You either fear that you're going to be unable to execute what you're trying to execute, or either you actually fear the consequences of executing whatever you're executing, so that it creates a level of hesitation or whatever case may be, or it deals with a situation where you're outside of the natural music of the situation or whatever. This may apply in various different situations. This could apply to talking to a girl or whatever case may be. You got this dope cologne on, you got the car, you got the clothes, you got the whole nine or whatever case may be, and you go up to the female or whatever case may be, and you're organically in the interaction. So based on what she's saying, you're in it with her, or whatever case may be. You don't have a preconceived notion, or whatever the case may be. Oh man, she thinks I'm too short. Oh man, you know what I'm saying? XYZ123. You don't have a preconceived notion. You're kind of in the energy naturally. Same thing with a job interview. Same thing with anything else or whatever. You take certain levels of preparation, but you're in it organically or whatever case may be. Okay, listening to the energy, staying unpredictable yet within established parameters and within the established tempo. Work within your own energy. Follow the process. Protect your balance points. Protect the aspects that maintain your level of progress in the situation. Be mindful of slow encroachment on them of unwanted forces. Remove the tentacles of these forces ASAP. So it's talking about be mindful of the slow encroachment of unwanted things on um, your balance points or your resources that allow you to maintain progress. This is important or whatever case may be, because it allows you to take the emotion out of our dealings. Um, a lot of times, let's say like if you got a girlfriend or whatever case may be, and you might got a corporation and your girlfriend might be working for you or something like that. She might be a secretary or something like that. She might be stealing from you or whatever case may be. But you know what I mean, she got that Gawk 3000. You feel what I'm saying? So you caught up in all that. You see what I'm saying? And you can't, see, you can't. Oh man, she wouldn't do that. And it ain't really the fact that she wouldn't do that or whatever. She got something else going on, and and you liking what she got going on or whatever the case may be. So it's making you blind. You're in a trance, sir. Snap out of it. So viewing things from this perspective, it allows you to see it without emotions involved in it or whatever the case may be. You clearly see that this individual is basically vamping on you, and in order for your enterprise to last for any significant amount of time, you need to make the necessary changes or whatever the case may be. So this framework allows you to see outside of emotion or whatever the case may be. But this is dealing with like I said, targeting, living inside of your intent or whatever the case may be. Um, any effort without um, a goal is insubstantial by its very nature or whatever. It can't be substantial because you can't even apply any force to it because it has no goal. It's just going any old where or whatever the case may be. So that's as far as that. It gets a little bit more nuanced as far as like attaining your goal. It gets a little bit more nuanced as far as protecting the things that help facilitate you obtaining your goal or whatever. But it's basically talking about concentrating all of your available resources, from your physical resources to your mental resources, to attain a particular um, goal. I think this will tie into the whole thing about, some of the guys talk about, being on your purpose and all that stuff like that. This is something like that or whatever case may be. This is mobilizing your resources and targeting a particular goal, and protecting the things that allow you to make to pursue that goal or whatever case may be, setting up a certain level of preparation and then pursuing that goal, but still acting um, in a level of anticipation and organic interaction with the situation or whatever, so you don't miss anything or have any type of preconceived notions or whatever case may be. So that's kind of what I had on um, that 23rd law of power, whatever case may be. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all got something out of that. Um, out of that 23rd law of power, and that living inside your intent from that TM. You know what I mean? Y'all stay tuned. We're gonna do a couple more pieces out of this TM. Appreciate y'all checking me out. Peace and blessings.